Namaskar, Swagatam, hello, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters,
and everything else in between. Now, of course, today we shouldn't really mention Happy New Year now because I feel like half the year's over. Well,
do you think there's an official cut-off date?
Well, half the month is over at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to be, before you know it, you'll be saying Happy Valentine's Day to me.
Happy Vaisakhi.
Happy Vaisakhi.
To you, a bit presumptuous, but yeah.
Happy Holi.
Yeah.
And before you know it, Happy Easter.
So you're saying because it is our first episode this year, we had to wish everybody a very Happy New Year, of course. Right?
You know, what we should be saying is Happy Manifestation Day. Because this is, when all your predictions, your aims, your goals, your resolutions, this is the time to do all those sort of things. I know every year we try it and every year we fail miserably.
Speak for yourself.
But, you know what millennials say? They don't even say manifestation.
What do they say?
They say Happy Vision Quest Day.
Oh my God.
Don't ask me how I know these things, but I know these things.
So this is the time to essentially take a piece of paper and write down your aims and your goals and everything else, is it?
Yeah, it's about writing all your resolutions, your aims, your goals. Though I feel that in 2022, it's a bit of deja vu because I feel we're back in like 2020. All the things we thought we would do, we're still stuck at the same place, thanks to the dreaded COVID.
Of course, the pandemic hasn't gone away at all. We're getting variant after variant. Although this time I feel that we are in a better position to deal with Omicron and the aftermath of the pandemic.
Yeah, but apart from manifestations, I think it's a great time at the start of the year to be grateful for things. To be thankful for what we do have. Because there's always someone who's got it much worse than you.
Yep.
So it's time to be grateful. I mean, personally, I'm very grateful to certain members of my family for the passwords to Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus. So thank you very much.
What? Hashtag sweet Barbie, is that what you're saying?
Sweet Barbies.
While you were talking about manifestation and aims and goals and what was it? Vision Quest and all the rest of it.
Vision Quest sounds like some sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it sounds, more scientific.
Trekky.
Yeah, Star Trekky. Something just came to my mind. I remember reading a Bollywood story not too long ago. Since you're someone who loves to buy your flash diaries and your filofaxes and your
everybody has to have one vice, so okay, maybe 2 or 3 or 4.
2 or 3 or 4, yes.
I can count my vices on my fingers.
I was trying to remember what they're called.
That's 10 vices I have, by the way. Yeah?
Since you just mentioned
my diaries.
Your diaries, your favorites.
My favorites are Traveler's Notebook. I seem to have this thing with Japanese stationery.
Oh my God.
And, of course, moleskins.
Moleskins, yeah. Since you're someone who likes to fill up moleskin after moleskin, writing about various things, things that you've done, things that you want to do, and manifestations and all the rest of it. Do you believe in things like astrology, numerology, prediction?
Not really. Well, I mean, I like to see my stars now and then. Makes me feel better when I'm flicking through a magazine. But I'm not really into stars that much. Let me just justify my my Japanese stationery. Okay.
Yes.
It's very precise, very neat. There's little dots on it. I feel like it's money well spent.
Oh well. So why I asked you about astrology, numerology, and prediction is because Jackie Shroff, Bollywood star, Bidu, he says that my father was an astrologer.
Or Bidu?
Bidu. He says that my father was an astrologer, and although many people laugh at astrology and they don't take it very seriously, I believe in it.
Bidu, sab kuch barabar, fatafat. Sorry, I'm just going in my Jackie Shroff mode. Carry on.
So Jackie Shroff said that my father was an astrologer, and the 2 things that he predicted accurately in his lifetime were, 1, that I would eventually become an actor, and he said this when I was nowhere near showbiz. And 2, he says that he also, in a roundabout way, very sadly predicted my brother's death. Now, Jackie Shroff tells a story and says that I had an older brother who was 10 years older than me. And he says that he was a mill hand and he used to work in a famous mill in Mumbai. And on this particular day, in the morning, my dad said to my brother that Aaj Shubh Din nahi hai. It's not a good day today, don't go to work. And my brother actually didn't go to work. But what he did do was, he must have gone down to the beach and he saw someone drowning and he jumped in to help someone without knowing how to swim himself, and he drowned. So Jackie Shroff says that, there were these two things, two life-changing events for me, as he says, losing my brother so early in my career, so early in life, and the fact that I eventually did get into Bollywood, and my father predicted this at a time when I was nowhere near Bollywood. This makes me believe in astrology. And there's another beautiful thing that he always says, people say that, have you noticed how Jackie Shroff, I thought that was his tapori get-up, his budu get-up.
Oh, he plays to that, doesn't he?
He plays to that.
I think in the 70s, before he became an actor, he was a model. And one of the most famous ads he did was this cigarette called Char Minar. And
no, but I believe that even that...
In those days, he used to wear that scarf and all.
Now, listen, he actually started out as a travel agent. Do you know that?
Really?
That it was while he was still working as a travel agent, that someone called him in and said that you don't look too bad yourself. Why don't you come and pose for our calendar for some holiday destination? That's how it took off. So you're right. He did a bit of modeling as well. But he says, when you see, he's always got a silken scarf tied to his wrist. And, so I thought that it was part of his tapori get-up, but there's more to that. In an interview, Jackie Shroff said that I lost my mother very young as well. And he says that as a child, I was very shy. And when people would come home, I would always hide behind my mum. And I would always be tugging at her sari ka pallu. So he says that, I tie the scarf to my wrist because it reminds me of my mum. Because it reminds me of that sparsh, that feeling, that touch. And मुझे ऐसे लगता है जैसे माँ का हाथ अभी भी मेरे हाथ में है, which I thought was such a beautiful thing.
Nice story. Now, I'm old enough to remember that when his first movie came out, I think, what was it? Young Kid. But
Hero.
I remember Hero came out with Subhash Ghai movie, all the rage. And who was it? Meenakshi Shetty?
Yeah. Ding-a-dong, baby, sing a song.
That's the one. Ding-dong. In England, Ding Dong, Baby Sing a Song, you'd probably think it's Leslie Phillips. Ding Dong.
Some rude joke.
No,
let's not even go there.
A character actor from here.
Yeah.
Ding Dong, Baby Sing a Song.
I only just remember that song. I'm much, much younger than you, so I don't remember Jackie Shroff, or it's only later that I found out that it was Meenakshi Shetty, but I do remember the song. So yeah, talking about manifestations and predictions and astrology and numerology, you're absolutely right. Whether you believe in any of this or not, I think starting off the year on a note of gratitude, especially in the times that we live in, especially after a year like COVID, when everyone is battling a lot of things, whether we say it or not, whether it is something which has had life-changing effects on us, or whether we are kind of still, able to tide over whatever challenges it may have put our way. I think gratitude is the right attitude. It is the order of the day. So to those listening to this podcast, I hope the year is absolutely fabulous for you, and I hope you're grateful for whatever you have right now.
And it's far better than the previous 2 years.
Yeah.
Well. Talking about things that you've read, and you read this about Jackie Shroff, or something you just knew? Bollywood expert.
Yeah, well, I'd read...
Don't you do a Bollywood podcast as well, which I refuse to mention on this podcast?
Yeah, I do, as part of my station. But I can't remember whether I read it or whether I heard him say on an interview, but when you were talking about manifestation, this just came to mind.
I read... if you read the papers for the last 4 or 5 days, it's all about starting the new year. And I read this wonderful thing about tips for a better 2022. And one of these just made me think of you. Now, there were a whole lot of them, but...
It must be the usual things, like declutter,
the ones
let go,
the ones I remember were
detox.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the ones that stuck in my head, I can't remember any of them actually at this point, but one was that overworking is counterproductive. That appealed to me. It says that you get more work done when you work less.
Yeah, that is you.
Yeah. So of course, I'm all for the 4-day week.
Yeah.
उससे भी ज़्यादा अच्छा 3-day week, 3 दिन वाला week.
हाँ. काम ही क्यों करो? हाँ.
And one of them was that try to leave the house when you go for a walk without your phone. That is something you do sometimes, and I do
a lot.
But I always say take your phone with you in case some emergency.
I like to leave my phone home when I go to the shops.
But this is the one that I don't know why I thought of you.
Which is?
That it said that if you want to make a purchase, if you want to buy something, wait 72 hours before buying it.
I wonder why you thought of me, because that is something I could never do in a million years.
Because sometimes, you don't really need that thing.
You do need
as
it.
badly as you think you need it.
Oh, trust me, you do.
Like they say, you shouldn't go into a supermarket if you're with a empty stomach.
Yeah.
If you're hungry.
Yeah.
Same way, If you see this bag, it doesn't mean that you have to buy the bag there and then. It means घर जाती हूँ, सोचती हूँ, go over the internet, see if there's a cheaper price somewhere,
Nope.
and then buy the bag 3 days later.
I think, well,
that is my logic.
Well,
anyway.
clearly the sales are not meant for you, but even if it is not
I'm
for
still,
the sales.
I wanted to buy, I think I wanted to buy this guitar 2.5 years, 3 years ago. I'm still walking around the shop staring at it. I love window shopping.
Well, that's you. That's how you and I are so different. My list of wants is not very long, but what I want. I don't want something else. I
want it now.
No, I'm not such a I want it. You're making me sound like such a shopaholic, which I'm not. But yeah, I have a few favorites, brands and things, and I think that if something works for you, you shouldn't experiment. But there you go. So that's manifestation and shopping.
And one wonderful thing,
the same episode.
And they also had famous celebrities saying, giving their quotes and sayings for the year. And one guy, a pop star, I think, he said that never take anything personally, which I think I'm going to go forward this year.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah, don't take anything personally. Just like a water off a duck's back. Let it go.
If you are human, if you have feelings and emotions, it's harder said than done. Easier said than done. I mean, it's harder to do, harder to implement.
And do you think this year we'll kind of raise our head above the parapet and try to take more risks, chances?
On the podcast?
Not on the podcast.
In life?
In life, like there were a couple of media things that we were planning to do last year.
Yeah.
Do you think
we might. I think the pandemic has challenged people in different ways.
There are a lot
there are a lot of people who've taken the opportunity to do the things that have been languishing on their to-do list for a long time, and they thought, right, this is life asking us to take a different route, chart a different course. But I don't know whether it is the right approach to take, but I do feel that there is a big change coming into our lives in a year and a half when our eldest son leaves for university. And then not long after that, our youngest is going to leave as well. And I think that is when your children fly the nest, that is when midlife crisis really happens. I'm approaching a big birthday as well. So I'm trying to hold off.
The day they go, we'll be on cruises, traveling
no,
the world.
Not at all. I feel very differently. I think I'm going to be massively depressed. And B, I feel that is when I need to occupy myself with different things that would help me not think about the fact that it's just the two of us rattling about in a house without the kids most of the year. Right now, it seems like a treat, I know.
No, the reason I said, will you raise your head above the parapet, will you take chances and all, is because in terms of your social media and all, and your opening up your private life, you're quite reticent.
I am. I don't intend to change. I don't. An actress who I admire greatly, a Pakistani actress, Mahira Khan, and I know she's not the only one. In a recent interview, she said the exact same thing, and she says that people tell me that, Mahira, your social media game is virtually dead. You're not someone who puts up videos and reels and this and that, and you hardly ever give interviews. As a result of that, there is a lot of misconception about you, because you're not one of those stars who's forever talking to the press and forever putting things out there. And doesn't it bother you? And she said something which was brilliant, and she said that, look, as long as people like my work, I know that what I'm doing is right. I'll continue to do what appeals to me. I'll continue to take the risks that I want to take, not because it's trendy, not because it's going to win me an award, but public support is what matters the most to me. And as long as I have that, I don't think any of the other things that people somehow feel is an important part of your public life, those things don't appeal to me. So I'm not putting
anybody... They're all peripheral.
They are peripheral. So like I said, I'm not putting anybody else down. I know there are people who do a fantastic job of making reels, doing TikTok videos. I'm not addicted to them, but when you forward them to me, or when I see other friends forwarding them to me or sharing it with me, I enjoy them as much as anybody else. But it is not for me. I'm not going to do something which doesn't sit right with my personality only to be trendy, or only to, as you say, get more followers or get more people. That doesn't make any difference to me. As long as I'm doing my job sincerely, as long as people are enjoying what I'm doing and I'm having fun doing it, that's what makes a difference. So I don't see any massive changes happening in that department.
Yeah. So another year with no followers.
With no followers. And happy. Or with followers who I'm happy, who genuinely enjoy what I post, and I genuinely enjoy talking to them through social media as well. I'm not saying that
there are people who like photographs of trees.
They do like
and sunsets,
and olives, and an omelette for the 100th time. They do, believe it or not. What else? I'm going to talk about 2 dramas as well. Not 2 dramas. One drama that concluded, one which we had talked about earlier.
I thought you were going to, New Year drama in our life.
No.
Do we have any drama in our life?
We will possibly. We don't like to talk about all our real life kitchen sink dramas. But there's one drama that I want to talk about which concluded, and a lot of people were saying a lot of things about it. We've mentioned this before, and the lady who's written it, she retweeted us.
Your Pakistani
drama? My
dramas?
Pakistani drama, Hum Kahan Ke
Now, because
Sache
I
The.
don't watch them, I really haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
So this drama concluded last weekend. And it was about, when we talked about earlier, do you remember? I think you put it out on Twitter and you tagged the lady,
Mera. She retweeted it. Yes.
Mera Ahmed, who's written the novel, and she retweeted it, and it became a thing in Pakistan amongst some fans. So that drama concluded. So it is a very normal story. It's about 3 cousins, and in amongst Muslims, in Muslim society, you're allowed to marry your first cousin. So it is about 2 girls and a guy. They're all 3 of them are cousins. And so one of them likes the guy. Both girls actually like the guy, but he likes only one of them. And how life puts them through a roller coaster where there's a lot happening. There's misunderstandings.
It's like a love triangle.
It is a love triangle of sorts, but there's misunderstanding, there's a murder, which people want to... That is the crux of the story. Is it a murder or is it suicide? There's mental health and well-being being discussed. There's marital abuse. There's mental abuse. It has a very dark storyline, which is what appealed to me, because it dared to talk about things which you normally don't see in mainstream dramas. Why it became a talking point was because it was Mahira Khan's return to TV dramas after a 7-year gap. She'd become a bona fide star.
I think we mentioned this before.
We mentioned this as well. It has a stellar cast. Kubra Khan, Usman Mukhtar, all of them beautifully cast in perfect roles. And even the rest of the supporting cast was wonderful. And when the drama concluded, and when the hero and the heroine, when everything was resolved, and they had a kind of a happily ever after, or at least forgiving each other and deciding to take a chance and go forward, opinion was sharply divided on whether it should have ended the way it did. There's one school that says that, if you've been in an abusive relationship... it's everybody already knows. But so there's one school that says that if you've been in an abusive relationship, in a marriage or in a friendship or whatever it is, should you really forgive the abuser? And there's another school that says that abuser is not a habitual abuser. He only did what he did, and I'm not talking about physical abuse here, by the way. Yeah, it is about mental abuse. Torturing someone mentally to an extent that she's almost driven to a mental asylum.
Well, I haven't seen it, but it sounds wrong. End of story.
Yeah, no, but then there are people who are saying that he was led to behave this way because he was fed a lot of lies about her. But once the penny drops and he realizes how wrong he was in judging this girl, his cousin, the love of his life, that is when he really he's on a path to recovery, and he really wants to, what's the word for it? He's penitent, and he wants to... Atone, thank you. He wants to atone. And he wants her forgiveness. And at the end, when she forgives, it's not such a filmy thing. Because let's face it, as it says, no relationship is perfect, no marriage is perfect. And if 2 people can find even a sliver of hope in trying to reconcile with the past and move forward to a better tomorrow, they should. Better together than apart. So that's what I want to talk about. I think it's absolutely fabulous that mainstream dramas are talking about things which were earlier considered either taboo or considered not suitable for a family audience. I think
nowadays, if you watch OTT, as you like to say, if you watch all your Netflix and all, half the things are not suitable for a family.
No, but there you're talking about bold, daring things.
What is that new thing we
Decoupled.
saw? The Manu Joseph one, isn't it? The one that he's written.
Yeah.
The guy who thinks he's Larry David.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? We haven't watched all of it, we have to admit, but we watched about 2 episodes, didn't we?
Yeah. Madhavan and Chetan Bhagat as 2 novelists. See, there again, a lot of people in India are saying that, it is propagating, these values. Whereas there are others who are saying that artists should be allowed the creative freedom to make stories.
And this is real life. People do.
Yeah, this does happen.
And
just because you're showing it doesn't mean that you're propagating or you're advocating that lifestyle. You're just holding up a mirror to something that does happen in life anyway. So it's quite interesting, I think. I think we live in very exciting times when it comes to entertainment. And I'm talking about Asian entertainment. This has existed in the West for a long, long time, where there's always been an audience for this niche kind of dramas and films. But I think with the flooding of OTT platforms in India, Pakistan, in the South Asian subcontinent, suddenly there is a need and there is a niche and there is an audience for dramas that were earlier considered unsuitable. There was a lot of moral policing in India.
As I heard on your show only, where on your Bollywood perspective, you mentioned that all these big movies, 83 and all, have not done well, have they?
Yeah. So it is no longer. I'm so glad that the average Bollywood audience has now, and I'm counting myself in it as well. We love a good entertainer, masala, dishum movie as much as the other person, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of reason. It doesn't have to be something that doesn't give you anything. Because even a masala entertainer which ticks all the traditional Bollywood boxes can be a film that moves you, that makes you think, that makes you laugh, that makes you cry, and doesn't completely insult your intelligence. So, I think it is a big sign. All these big budget films, the Salman Khan's last few films, 83, they're saying that it's slightly sad, because they're saying that obviously you're celebrating the historic win. You're celebrating the real heroes, Kapil's Devils, who achieved the near impossible back in 1983. But they say that the mistake Kabir Khan makes is to concentrate too much on the cricket and too little on the human aspect of the story.
Oh, you mean like Dangal, Lagan and all had that?
Yeah, Dangal,
human
Lagan.
aspect.
Yeah, what was that hockey one with Shah Rukh Khan, Chak De India? All of these stories. Lagan was totally fictional, but nonetheless, Bhag Milkha Bhag, all of these biopics, sport was just in the backdrop. It was their struggle. That is what you connect with. And 83 apparently has too little of that. It has too much of the cricketing action, which people are pointing out that other than that one match against New Zealand, which famously wasn't filmed.
The one in Tunbridge Wells, was that against New Zealand?
It
the one where he scored 175.
That is the one, which wasn't famously filmed. Other than that, they're saying every single match is there on YouTube for anybody to watch. So it is like watching the World Cup 83 highlights. So that's where people felt a little cheated.
So the fun has gone out of it.
Yeah. While we're talking about films...
But wasn't there a South Indian film that's doing really well?
Yes. There's an Allu Arjun film called Pushpa.
I believe it's coming on Netflix soon, yeah.
It is on Netflix soon, and what has really surprised film buffs is the fact that even the Hindi dubbed version, normally the audience is very sharply divided, South Indian and North Indian audience. So they're saying that even the Hindi dubbed version is doing better than 83 in the cinema. So those who are defending 83 saying that, it hasn't made enough crores kyunki COVID ki wajah se log cinema hall nahi ja rahe hain.
But COVID has played a part again.
It has
Cinemas are closing again.
No, but then it's a level playing field. It should play a part in the way people are
watching Pushpa.
It's
called Pushpa?
Pushpa in the box office collections for Pushpa, for Spider-Man, all of that. Yeah. Right.
Spider-Man's done really well. So
Pushpa is something I would love to see, because I don't really know my South Indian stars and my South Indian films, and I know much as we are looking forward to RRR, Liger, all these other big films that pit Bollywood stars, not against, but that bring Bollywood and South India together. We know very little about Vijay Sethupathi and Vijay Deverakonda and Allu Arjun and all the rest of them.
But you know more than me, sir.
At least I know the names.
But you wanted to talk about some other Pakistani play?
Not Pakistani play, I wanted to talk about Priyanka Chopra Jonas.
Oh, yes.
Priyanka Chopra has emerged as the most followed Bollywood star on Instagram with some 72 or 74 million followers. I hasten to add, not the most followed Indian, that is still Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli still got 174 million, I believe, followers on Instagram.
That's quite
for a cricketer, that's phenomenal.
No, I think the most is Ronaldo or something, isn't it? He's like in 300
That's 300 something, yeah. So Priyanka Chopra doing quite well, yeah.
Oh, talking about Priyanka, wasn't she in Matrix?
The Resurrection. Yeah.
I know she's not a big part, but I'm not going to watch it for the simple reason that I've heard that Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, is not in it. So I just feel, I don't want to watch it now.
See, you know your Matrix better than I do. I know it's about having two pills,
The red one and blue one.
And the blue
well,
one?
I've heard that people have said, I've not watched it, but people have said that if you haven't watched the previous ones, this one is quite hard to understand.
Is it?
You need to have a bit of a background. For me, we're talking about Morpheus. That reminds me that when I was young, one of the few Greek idioms I knew was that I'm going to sleep in the arms of Morpheus tonight.
What does that mean?
I'm going to have a very nice sound sleep.
Oh,
I think
is he the god of sleep?
I think he was the son of the goddess. I think the god of sleep was Hypnos, which is where you probably get hypnosis and hypnotic. And
very good. I'm impressed.
and so Hypnos was his father, and Morpheus, I think, of course, I think the word morphine is probably from there. When you sleep like a baby,
gives you pain relief.
Yeah.
So you may not have known a few weeks ago how to pronounce Omicron.
Yes.
But you do know Morpheus
But I do know that you can sleep in the arms of Morpheus.
Well, there you go. Most people would prefer to sleep in the arms of Priyanka Chopra, but if you prefer Morpheus, that's your choice. But as I was saying, I don't know the Matrix at all.
I'm shocked. I didn't really think you're the type to sleep in the arms of Priyanka, but
I wasn't talking about me. You were the one who wanted to talk about the Matrix. But moving swiftly on, that's about it, I think, right? Or should I talk about my encounter with Sir David Suchet?
Go on, why not?
Okay, so I went to see this wonderful play called An Audience with Sir David Suchet, who's best known for playing Poirot, and it was an absolutely delightful evening.
Can I just butt in?
And say,
why are you staring at the oven? Is the oven on?
The oven is on, and I need to go and do something with the potatoes. Should we pause for a bit?
No, just tell your story. Khana jal gaya, kha lunga.
हाँ, तुम्हें ही तो खाना है. Don't say that. I won't even be able to tell the difference. That'll be heartbreaking. But so Sir David Suchet in conversation and speaking about his life as a theatre actor first, then on television, in films, and then of course Poirot. So wonderful stories. And he says, my father was a famous doctor on Harley Street, and he wasn't too impressed with the fact that I decided to become an actor. And so one day, we were having a heated discussion, and I said to him, "Oh father, come on, you're a surgeon, I'm an actor, we both work in the theatre." He said it didn't go down too well with him. Witty. So it was wonderful. It really was a wonderful evening.
Did you talk? Obviously, he talked about Poirot.
Spoke about Poirot. Then he'd come with all his props. So at the end, they'd given him the moustache that they finally used on him. They'd given him the walking stick with a silver handle, which is worth a lot of money. And Agatha Christie's estate, his daughter was working with him very closely because she's the one who auditioned him and chose him as the Poirot 25 years ago. So he spoke very fondly about all of that. And he said that, much as it is something that people know me for, and I know that most of you here are probably only here because of Poirot, you know me as Poirot.
But he's an established Royal Shakespeare Company
Absolutely.
actor,
He's been in all these reps, he's done all your Shakespeare parts, and he went to Lambda. So he's a paka, bona fide
by the way, that's the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts.
Yes.
And why do I know this?
Because you did a course.
I did a course
as well.
Many years ago.
Yep. So it was wonderful.
Isn't he in True Lies, I think with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
He's in True Lies, and there's another thing that he spoke about.
Art Malik was in that as well.
He said that there's one part that came to me once, which my agent called me and said, "Let me send you the script, tell me what you think." And I said, "I don't need the script, just say yes." Can you guess what it might have been? It was on TV. Which show it might have been for? It was a one-off.
A comedy?
Not a comedy, no.
Coronation Street, EastEnders kind of thing?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
He said that, I had to be in it. I didn't care whether how many seconds I was there for or what the role was. I said, don't send me the script, say yes first. So it was brilliant. Now I really do have to go now.
Okay then. Good.
And
I'll just say bye-bye to everyone who's so patiently listened to us.
Please do.
You think your food is more important?
I don't think my food is more important, but I do think we don't have enough backup if this burns. And
the smoke alarm might go.
And the smoke alarm goes off. Not the best way to start the first weekend of the year, but thank you so much.
Chaliye to, isi silsila mein we'll take your goodbyes.
Yes.
Till next time. Bye-bye now. Chaliye, bye.